Andy.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's 10 o'clock on the East Coast. You're listening and watching the Daily AI Show live. Today is January 2nd. And with us today, we have a few of the group. Still got some people out finishing up their either their holidays or otherwise. But we do have Beth, Andy, Robert, Brian. And today we're talking about the small business AI advantage. And what does that mean? If you're a small to either medium-sized business, first of all, we'll define what we feel like that means, because that can change as well. And then what does it mean in 2024 to have that AI advantage? How can you use it to the best of your ability? And how can you act or perhaps pass larger competitors, organizations that have many more people on staff who just cannot move as fast as you can? So with that, I'd love to kick it off and throw it over to you, Robert, because we were just talking right before we went live. And I think you had some really good use cases, not only what you're doing with WSI, and we can talk about that, but then also, you were giving up some other examples too. So let me throw it to you.
Yeah, so I'll start and saying this is, if you're a small business, medium-sized business, I'm going to be a hype man for you, because this is your day to shine. Because right now, very few technologies or offerings or tools that you could use in years past are going to really make you competitive against your much, much larger competitors. It's very, very seldom the case that you'll be able to compete with them on different levels. But now, with AI tools, just basic stuff, you can do things without hiring additional staff or without really adding additional expenses to your organization, and still have massive increases in efficiencies and output. So I'm just trying to tell you, now is your time. Don't ignore the opportunity here. Now at WSI, we're obviously a worldwide leader in digital marketing for small businesses and medium-sized businesses. But recently we've taken on, about 12 months ago, the next level, which is basically helping small, medium-sized businesses with integrating AI into their organization. So what I think is important for small businesses to know is you don't have to do everything. The bigger organizations, the enterprise level companies, they, like I was telling the people earlier before we started the show, they're like a huge cruise ship that you just can't turn, But when you're a small business owner, you're like a tugboat. You can pivot on a dime. So that's what we're looking at right now in the world of AI. You have the ability to integrate software quickly, or change workflows easily, or change the culture of your organization with your 10 employees much faster, right? And whereas the big organizations, it takes much more. You have to hire a whole team. You have to do coachings and training sessions and workshops, and it's so much easier with less people. Now, the question, of course, remains like, well, we can't afford it. We're a small person team, and the beauty of that is goes back to the theory of constraints. Is the idea that you really identify your bottlenecks one at a time and fix that one bottleneck, and then next quarter or the quarter after, then you go after the next bottleneck that rears its ugly head. So you don't have to go after every low-lying fruit solution that your team is looking at. You don't have to go after every problem area that AI looks like it can fix. Just do the one item that has the maximum possibility of return on investment, and then go after the next one and the next one. So small business owners still have opportunity here.
Mm-hmm.
Am I going crazy, Beth? What do you think?
No, I think you're totally right. And actually, in the beginning, I want everybody to go back and listen to Robert's hype session and imagine like the strings and like the light is like coming down. It seemed like the beginning of like, you are the small business movie.
I should have had music ready for that. I didn't realize we were coming in with the hype. I mean, cinematic maybe. Let's see. Let's see if this plays. Oh, that's not hype music. Yeah. No. Okay. Next time I'll be ready for the hype. Go ahead.
There
Beth.
we go. So if a small business of a team of 6 is a jet ski, is a tugboat, a solopreneur or a small partnership is a jet ski, right?
Oh, there you go.
So
yeah.
You have the opportunity as someone who has an idea right now to be hyper focused. And be able to like really, really like make an impact. And the risk for trying as a tiny, tiny team is incredibly low, right? So like try, I mean, obviously people have obligations and don't like sell your house. But but there's so much opportunity and there's so much information out about how to do things. And as a one person, you are not needing to take into consideration like everyone, like the 50-person team behind you and all of that. So I would say absolutely, I love what Robert said. And I really think that like the solopreneur or like the small but like cooperative partnership is a model moving forward. And some of those cooperative partners are AIs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're listening. If somebody's listening to this right now, it's January 2nd. It's, and they're like, they're right. The Daily AI Show crew is right. I just listened to Robert. I listened to Beth. I need to make this a priority because I know I can become more efficient, more proficient. I can save time. I can save money, all the great things with AI. But I'm a team of 15. I'm a CEO of a team of 15. All right, Andy, go. What is the, to put you on the spot, because I know you have this, Andy, is like, what would you say is the focus? Like, because Robert's right. Like, don't try to eat the whole elephant. You got to take it in bite-sized pieces. So where is a really great place for maybe a small business to say, that's a great place to start if I was going to start somewhere with AI to try to be more nimble, to try to maybe catch up to a larger competitor?
I'll get to that. I want to say about.
I know I threw that on you.
No, that's fine. There's a good context for what I'm going to say. The large enterprises had been using AI before 2023.
Yes.
What's happened in 2023 is what's described as a democratization of access to tools that can actually provide the efficiency and scaling benefits to small teams in a digestible way without having to make extraordinary strategic investments in the kinds of teams that large enterprises have already had. And the very largest enterprises we know, they've been using AI for more than a decade. So it's really something that is most of apropos small to medium businesses that weren't previously incorporating AI. So this is a recurring theme on this show, which is, it's not too late. I mean, the bus hasn't left the station yet, really. Get on the bus, though. That's the first thing. And there's a prescription for it. And then one of them is to, advocate and empower AI literacy among all your employees, because the tools that are going to be used that actually give you those advantages that were once the domain of the large enterprises, but now can empower you as a small team, those tools are primarily at the moment things that increase the productivity and quality of output of individuals in your team. And I'll cite what we've learned in the course of 2023 through some research that was done with Boston Consulting Group consultants. And that is that there was a measurable and significant increase in the quality and the quantity of output of those consultants when they use generative AI in their practice. So that's important. But what's even more important is the idea that the mediocre layer of consultants compared to the superstar consultants improved more relative, like compressing the range, so that a mediocre person on your team can be as effective and as impressive, as creative, as prolific as your very greatest superstars now, if they are given the tools. So you don't want to have these laggards in your organization. Of your 15, there's 5 of them probably who you would say, okay, well, I'd really like, if I had the opportunity, I'd either upskill those people or I'd, swap them out with somebody who's much more capable. Well, those capabilities that you're looking for right now are circling around AI and the exploitation of AI to do that. So AI literacy first, find out who's going to embrace it and start to employ it in their daily activities, and then encourage those. And then, find someone in either in your organization or external to your organization, including consultants like WSI or Scaled, in the case of those particular sort of verticals that you may belong to, and start to increase the actual deployment of what we call AI ops, which is you've got tasks that are now being sort of ameliorated by the use of generative AI, and you're using automations within that context to make this happen without necessarily requiring that some human be at their terminal initiating the process. So AI quality content and AI quality output, data analysis, et cetera, is coming to you and the rest of the team members of your organization. That can be delivered by a small team. And that leads to my very last point, which is that, it's not so much that small and medium businesses have an AI advantage relative to large enterprise, big E. It is that a small team can create what it used to take a very large team to do.
Right.
So with AI tools, a startup, for example, this is changing the VC landscape. The productivity per employee of an AI startup is extraordinary in terms of the enterprise value that's created through the VC process. Very small capital required. The human labor inputs required, very small compared to the market impact that an AI platform, for sure, but also AI apps can deliver. Now, your company may actually have an opportunity to do something strategic by delivering an AI app to the market that is going to expand your reach and your market catchment. That's an opportunity that shouldn't be missed.
Wow, that's a lot of good nuggets in there, Andy. And while you were talking, so many people were giving us comments on our topic, so I want to address those. And the first of which is, how do you determine ROI in AI? And I want to give my thoughts, but I think Brian would be really well positioned, given that he works for Scaled and they have some great ways of going about this solution. But my take on that is with AI, obviously there's some tools that you'll integrate or processes or workflows that you'll fix through some automation and whatnot that will make things happen in your organization that make it faster, more efficient, more productive, cost less. It's you as an organizational leader or the culture to determine how those changes are then going to, trickle down to other decisions. Meaning, if you were able to make your employees more efficient so that their tasks are their time is now 80% of their time versus 100% of their time spent on the tasks that they have to do, what do you do with that 20%? Do you put more on them and hire less people? Well, then you just saved yourself money and you made yourself more efficient. If you say, well, give them more relaxation, well, then you've increased your employee happiness, right, in your organization. Or is it something to do with your supply chain where you did something with AI? Now you made your cost go down. Now, when your cost goes down, do you lower your price or do you increase your profitability? So these are all, it's hard to say what your ROI is based on what the return is on the solution that you've integrated. Now, Brian, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I can give two clear examples of this. So on the sales side, so Scaled is a sales consulting company, and we do focus primarily in the sales consulting. And our CEO, Jake Dunlap, I recommend anybody, if you're in sales or you just like really good LinkedIn content, you should follow Jake, because he's been doing this since 2018 on LinkedIn, and he puts out great content. And Jake and I, have had many, many conversations over the years since I've worked with Scaled, and he's a 20 plus year sales leader, right? And then he started Scaled 10 years, 11 years ago, whatever it was. But before that, he was working for different organizations like Glassdoor and other people. And what he tells me all the time with AI, as we now bring this to our customers, a lot of the areas we'll focus with sales teams is just simply in like, let's take something like prospecting. when you really listen to what Jake used to have to do as a sales leader, either whether he was leading or way back when he was like a SDR AE, somebody who was just on the phone, picking up the phone and doing maybe cold calling, the prospecting he would have to do and how long that would take, not what he would have to do, how long the prospecting would take to feel like he could truly have a personalized touch for the end user, right? Whoever this lead was, this prospect was significant. I mean, he tells me all the time, and we've talked about it probably last week or before the break. He'd say, Brian, do you remember, like, do you know how long this used to take? Or he'll tell other people, this used to, like, think about this. It used to be like 20, 30 minutes for me to do this. And now we have AI processes that will do the same thing that we've deployed with our clients that are helping sales teams do this in 3 or 4 minutes. Like 30 minutes to 3 or 4 minutes. That's one prospect. Now just take that ROI and multiply it out how many times your team of 3 or 4 or 10 or 20 or 40 sales leaders are going to do. And it is very quick how you can maximize that ROI or look at it, because sales teams know right away how long it takes to do good prospecting, what the results are from that, so on and so forth. That's one thing. On the LinkedIn strategy side, which is what I've done for several years now, I still have clients. I have clients today who have either come back to me because they've changed jobs, they're in new roles or whatever. They're executives at different companies, but I worked with them previously. And we've had conversations. In fact, I had one this morning, and we've talked about now what I can do for them using AI efficiencies as the consultant to them. And what I'm able to say to them is like, hey, look, this is either the price has come down or I'm now able to produce X amount more LinkedIn posts for you than I could in the past. In the past, this was an hour-long conversation with you and blah, 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 all these things. Now with AI, and I don't try to hide that, by the way, when it comes to copywriting, I'm like, by the way, I use AI to maximize and increase your copywriting and put out a really great product. The difference is I can now 2x what I used to be able to do in the past for you. And now that I have more free time, since I'm not starting with a blank page every single time with writing, now I can create images. Now I can do more fun things with video that you couldn't afford to do with me in the past because I had to put 3 hours into writing a really good post. And now I don't have to do that. So the clients love it, right? Because now I'm able to show them very easy ROI. They know what they used to pay and what I can produce for them. And now with AI, they know what I can produce for them. And it's clearly more. So they're definitely getting more bang for their buck.
It makes employees much more versatile. You're not singularly focused. A lot of you're not siloed into a specific skill set. AI is making you a little bit more diverse, and you're offering what you can provide. Additionally, what you said was a good point. Another thing that we do as well is that when we're proposing solutions, we give them a return. Like we say, this will increase efficiency by 40%, 80%. So that could be some similar to what you're doing with Scaled, is helping them make a decision whether this is a pathway before you even make that call. Somebody get asked, before you even determine whether it's an ROI. It's a pre-ROI. It's what the results are going to be based on the efficiencies that are going to be had. And Beth, go ahead. I'm going to throw this in there as well as you're talking.
No, go ahead to answer this, and then I'll say my thing.
I don't have an answer for it. I just thought.
I'm gonna pull the thing on the screen. Beth's gonna improvise the answer to it.
Well, you do improvise.
Yes, human need is part of determining the cost and the ROI in AI. But what I want to talk about is also the shift that is happening. So as skill and technique gets leveled up, what you are capturing in your business relationships, it is the emphasis on relationships with a capital R, right? So AI lets your humanness come to the front and have more time to be developing those relationships, to be establishing rapport. And to go back to the study that Andy was talking about, the third finding was that the employees who did worse with AI were the employees who did not understand how to use it and trusted it too much, right? So data is gold. Human relationships are key. You don't have to have incredibly high-end production values to show your distinction, because that's not going to be a distinction by the end of 2024. Everybody's going to be able to do something that looks like it came out of a top ad agency. What you're going to be able to do is have the data, the knowledge, the experience, both in your industry and the broadness of your industry, but also with the individual consumers or customers or clients that you engage with. And that is the difference that we are seeing. And that's the small business advantage, because you and your 4 partners can sit down and have a very productive conversation about where we're going in a way that isn't as easy with you and your 90 employees.
Mhm.
And I just want to add
If
to
you
that
want to
really
have
quick.
that conversation with 90 employees, talk to me, because I facilitate those conversations. But it is not as easy.
I just want to, real quick before we jump into this, I just want to highlight what you said, Beth, because I think it's really important. AI will enhance, if you use it correctly, it will enhance personalization, not decrease it. Can you use AI to make personalization worse? Can you use AI to send out 4,000 emails in the next 5 minutes? Absolutely. Can you use AI to pepper every social media account you have for both business and personal, for you and your entire team? Can you use AI to put out automatic posts every single day? Absolutely. But you're missing it if that's what you think it's for. Because where I will tell you the real key to success is using AI to be very efficient at creating highly personalized approaches for your clients. And if you want to move quick and you want to move fast and you want to do it faster than your larger competitors can do, that's where I would put your time and money into it, because you can amaze and wow your future clients, and they will be like, I don't understand how you knew so much about me. And it's because you're using AI to learn and create highly curated and personalized touch points. So Beth, what you said, I'm 1,000%, and it's what we try to preach all the time, is we're not saying more emails. God knows we're not saying more junk emails. We're saying use AI to create more personalized emails at scale efficiently. There you go. So anyway,
that sounds like the same thing, but I won't push back yet. I don't want to waste my pushback. So how does
always
this
that pushback. Like you have one.
I don't want to be known as that guy. And so here's another question, or from one of our users, or one of our LinkedIn viewers. How does this affect other apps like Adobe, Canva, etc., when AI is about automation and not creation? So how would you respond to that, Andy, or anybody?
So I think this is it's a false premise. AI is not about automation. Automation, in my mind, is completely distinct from generative AI. Generative AI has the ability, you turn the temperature up, that's a parameter of randomness, and it'll be very creative. It'll hallucinate for you if you want. Right. It'll do things that you could never anticipate, and it'll come up with novel and unexpected solutions. That's creativity. It's searching for the edges of all the possibilities. That's generative AI. Automation is just routinizing and repeating and looping things. And we have tools that we work with, and there's generative AI tools and there's automation tools. And there's only an intersection between the automation tools and the generative AI when the automation tool makers like Zapier that have been around forever, I don't know, 15 years or something, those are automation tools. Now they're starting to incorporate generative AI co-pilots that allow you to talk to the automation tools and accomplish something that's akin to linking together different applications. That's the automation part of it, and putting them in a repeatable chronological sequence. That automation can now be done with a lot greater ease because they're putting AI sort of coding tools, coding being a language that AI understands. It can generate interesting connections. It's not going to get creative with you on your automation, but it's going to certainly facilitate your ability to generate an automation.
So you also don't need to wonder about this question. Go get a free Canva account. Use Magic Write. Use generate image, right? Like you can know some of this. Remove the background. Remove background's been available for a while, but with AI it's better.
Yeah, it's better.
There's Adobe free things. Microsoft Copilot has a bunch of stuff for free. This is something you can answer for yourself.
Yeah, and that's a great point too. Like, if you're a small business, this does not have to cost you a lot. Now, we've talked about this in previous shows where I will say, like, maybe November, December, maybe early December, we talked about, hey, if we had $100 a month to spend, go back and listen to that episode, by the way, because it's a good one. If each of us had $100 to spend per month, what AI tools would we spend that $100 on? That's a great one. If you're not quite sure where to start, I highly recommend going back and taking a listen to that episode, because that's exactly what we talk about from our unique perspectives. You know, when we all come from different industries and stuff like that, how would we maximize or try to maximize the investment? But Beth, you're right. To a certain point, you can also start with $0 or, you know, if not $0, $20 a month, maybe to get you started with everything that'll come with a ChatGPT, a pro account, which would be like a starter point, right? But you could still go to Bing and you can use ChatGPT. You can do Adobe Express. You can do Canva on the free side. You won't get all the AI bells and whistles, but you will certainly get some of them. And if you've not started at all, this is where you should be focusing your time. And back to Robert's original point, figure out one small thing that you can make easier for you or your team and focus there first. Don't try to accomplish everything that you want to accomplish in 2024. You got to get started somewhere, and better to have something that's working and already helping you next week than trying to plan out something that's not going to make a difference to Q2. And that's really where I would say focus. Like, try to fix something by next week.
If we're saying what to focus on, I feel like I say this all the time to the point where I feel like I say it too much. Is we have been conditioned since we left college or high school of how to process problem solving, how to go about a task and navigate the landscape, right? And to determine a solution to whatever that is. From how do I mow my lawn to how do I change a diaper to how do I do something at work, right? We've been trained on how to go about those tasks, and the tools and the resources that we have been conditioned to use. What I'm trying to say now, with all that premise, is use AI now in that equation. Stop. It's really hard to pivot as humans, as adults who have been doing this for a while. That's the hardest part, I think, in all of this, is you got to retrain your brain to think of your problem in terms of AI as a solution possibility. And once you've done that, you won't be able to find something it can't do for you. That's the leap. That's the light bulb the size of the sun above your head. That's going to be like, holy crap, I had no idea. That's why you got to start with stop using Google. No offense to Google, but start using ChatGPT in everything. Bring it to every conversation. And that's what Ethan Mullick has been saying for a year now. That's where you start. And then everything will start to flow from that. You don't need to know the names of the tools. That's something different.
Right. And I will say that often when we talk about ROI, we want to look at the pain point and we want to address the pain point. For AI, in this first experimentation, you're getting used to it. It is going to be easier for you to see the value of AI if you start with something you do really well. Like, all the steps, and it just takes you a little longer than you wish than it would take. And now you look at AI through that lens. Part of why you're doing that is because you can see when AI is going off, rather than it's solving a problem because you need something to solve a problem, right? But you can start to get to know what it is like to partner with AI as a creative, rapid, multi-resource, can do 5 things at the same time in a way that human brains can't. And really start to know what's possible. And as a small business offering those services to other people, just get ready to blow their minds, because that is immediately apparent.
Reid Hoffman, the founder of LinkedIn, wrote a book a decade ago or so, I believe, about creating the brand of you. I'm hacking his actual title. I don't remember it, but the idea is here that the smallest business that you represent that can get the greatest advantage is you. So, you need to start doing all these things that we're recommending that small businesses do. And that's get in the conversation, get on the bus. And, even if you become, as I think all of us on this show have become among our personal networks, a too clanking, noisy advocate for AI. If you become that, it's a good sign because it really is exciting. It's creative. It's enabling, and you'll become a cheerleader for AI if you just dip your toe in. I'm probably talking to an audience that's already deeply enmeshed in it. But if anybody else listens to this who hasn't yet put their toe in the water, get wet.
Yep. We have a variety of audience. Yeah, you're muted.
Robert, we can't
Robert.
hear you. New fancy mic.
This is a new.
we-
So Robert will move his.
Does that work?
There we
There
go.
you are.
Yeah.
There you are.
So we got to address this. This is like, if you can sway one person a day to AI, then you've done your job on this group here on this podcast.
All right,
and this
we'll
is
wrap
the
this up
person
with
right
this.
here.
Take us home with this.
This is the key. I love this. This is a person who's like, I don't feel comfortable. Show me how. Log into ChatGPT, okay? And whatever you were just about to ask Google, now ask ChatGPT, okay? Even the free version. If you don't like that, go to Claude and use Claude. Free version still.
Or Perplexity.
Or Perplexity, yeah. But I like the ChatGPT interface because it's a little bit better for newer users. So get in there, try it out. And he says, have no idea to start function authentically with AI. You don't need a function. You just need to play around with it. The beauty of it is Google is not conversational, at least not yet. ChatGPT is conversational. You can literally talk to it. It's like, hey, I'm having a bad day. Give me some ideas of what I should do today to make me feel better. Something as simple as that. Or I need whatever you're doing on a daily basis, ask the ChatGPT instead of Google. And honestly, instead of having to navigate the blue links like you're currently doing and go to websites and actually, okay, let's give them a website. The website is what?
The question is log in where?
Okay, type it
All
in
right,
there.
say it one more time, Andy.
Chat.openai.com.
Yeah. So for any of our audio listeners, somebody just asked, Robert, you were responding to a question because I know not everybody can see the screen. So I have no idea where to start to function authentically with AI. Google allows me to view many ideas and process how these things contribute to my own thoughts. So Robert, you were just answering that. And I think it was the same commenter because all we can see on our side at the moment is LinkedIn user. So I apologize if this was somebody different, but somebody said log in where. Andy responded, he said, look, chat.openai.com. That's a great place to start. But you also have some other tools that are out there. People love or hate Bing, but Google Bard. But I will say this, and I think it's bard.google.com. There's no login required. You can literally go to it like a Google search and just start there. So if you're even at a point where you're like, I don't even want to log in somewhere, I just want to go to a site because I'm used to Google. I mean, it's probably not any of our most favorite AI tools, but bard.google.com requires zero login, and you can just ask it. To that matter, perplexity.ai.com is Perplexity
AI.
Perplexity, PERPLEXITY.ai also does not require, if you don't want to, you can sign it if you want to, and it'll save your searches and such. But you don't have to sign in there either. So two use cases right there where you literally could just go to your typical browser window in Chrome or whatever you're using and just literally start using some benefits of AI. There we go. So who just brought that up? Robert?
It's me.
Robert.
Sorry. Yep.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So just showing a quick, somebody's got some feedback on their mic.
Robert does. I just muted you. Sorry.
Sorry, Robert. I think you're so the users
No,
saying,
you've got-
thank you.
You've
all
got
on there.
feedback, Robert. That's why we're muting you.
Yeah.
Go
sorry.
ahead.
Okay.
So-
we can't get Robert, so we're just going to wrap it up. But he just pulled up his screen really quick to show. I know. Thank you. The show ChatGPT. But yeah, go check that out. it's a starting point. So look, whether you feel like, look, I've learned a lot about AI in 2023, but perhaps I just haven't pulled the trigger at my company. Whether you're listening to this and being like, I keep hearing about it, but I haven't done it, and that's why I'm listening to this podcast to learn more. Or maybe you're a little further down the road and you've done a few automations. In that case, I would say for those people, just be careful in 2024 of shiny objects. There's lots of ways to do lots of fun things with AI, but you really do need to keep coming back and saying, is this improving? Is this making us more efficient? Whatever the word is you want to put in there, is this actually helping our business day to day? Because I will tell you from personal experience, there are times where you can be using AI and automation and it actually does slow down the process. So it's iterative. You got to keep coming back to it to make sure that it's doing what you want it to do for you. So with that, we'll kind of wrap things up. Where's my screen on there? Hopefully this was helpful to you guys. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about the news. We have more topics coming up later in the week, so keep coming back, as well as all of 2024. We have lots of things in store. So thanks everybody. Thank you to all our commenters, and we will see you guys tomorrow to talk about really everything that's been going on in AI in the last 7 days. There's always something fun to talk about. So we'll see you then. All right. Bye, everybody.